Summer sleepaway camp typically means swimming, boating, campfires, and a few mosquitoes. But the Presbyterian Youth Camp for Leaders, taking place July 31st through August 5th at Geneva Center in northern Indiana, means so much more. To get a preview of the week's fun and leadership building, let's welcome Reverend Adam Malik, a lifelong camper and the pastor of Faith United Presbyterian Church of Tinley Park. We also welcome Kaylin Brown, an 8th grader from 6th grade Presbyterian Church, who has attended the camp twice. And we welcome Kyra Nicholson, a 4th grader from 6th grade Church, who has also attended the camp twice. Thank you all so much for coming. Reverend Adam, please start off by telling us about the camp in general and why you decided to have a leadership camp rather than a typical youth camp.
The history of this camp goes back quite a while, actually, and it was originally designed to gather together urban kids as a way of teaching them a better way of life, giving them some options moving forward and what they could do, and putting them on a path for leadership. Over time, it became clear that this was just a niche and we needed to broaden that, and so the Presbytery adopted what was once a program or just like sort of a small activity into a full-blown mission and ministry of the Presbytery. And we look at the youth as not only the church of the future, but the church of right now. And if we're going to expect them to be involved in the church as leaders, we need to put them on a path of leadership. And
what areas are the youth coming from?
They are coming from all over the Presbytery. We have 15 different churches already that have kids signed up, and that number is growing. They come from the north and the south and the east and the west, sort of like when Jesus calls us together for communion at the table.
And how many do you expect this year?
We expect somewhere in the neighborhood between 50 to 70 campers. It varies from year to year based on funding and kids' scheduling and availability, but we have a camp staff that's ready to go, volunteers, and a full-time director that are prepared to accommodate whatever God puts in our path.
And I heard that last year you were able to have a scholarship program. Is that correct?
Yes, there is a scholarship program in place every year. There was a one-time opportunity where we were able to give a full scholarship, but currently the scholarship program we offer is what we call the rule of thirds. The camper and their family are responsible for 1/3, the Presbytery pays 1/3, and then their home church who's sponsoring them also pays 1/3.
Well, that sounds like a great opportunity. I hope you're able to continue sending kids with those scholarships. Now, girls, we'd love to hear about the camp itself. Kaylin, why don't you start off by telling us about the different activities that you have there?
For one, when we wake up after we have breakfast, we have praise and worship, and something different. And then we break off into different age groups to do like a Bible study and like study different parts of the Bible. And then after a while, we have like lunch, and then we have swimming pool time. And then we have downtime, which is spend in the cabin, talk to some of the people. And then usually at the end of the camp, like on the last day of Thursday night, we have like this a big gathering where we usually have like dancing, and last year we had like a program where people did poetries and raps, so express their talents in like a Christianly faith type of way.
And Kira, what are some of your favorite aspects of camp?
Just the fun things that we get to do.
And do you have some fun memories from camp in the past years that you've gone?
Yeah, the water balloon fight that we had.
What is Geneva Center like in general?
It's different from the city. It's like a lot of forest, and like it's quiet, and if you look outside, it's really dark. You can see the stars. It's just different from being in Chicago. So, I mean, trees, you hear mosquitoes and different birds chirping. It's really nice. I enjoy it.
And Adam, why do you think it's so important for kids to have a chance to get out of the city?
The way we look at it, we have two major scriptures that we use for our background. And the first one is Psalm 19, verses 1 to 2, which talk about the heavens proclaiming the glory of God and the skies displaying God's craftsmanship. Day after day, they will continue to speak, and night after night, they will make God known. In an urban setting, it's really hard to do that. In a suburban setting, it's a little bit easier, but still, you don't get that full immersion with nature. And at the Geneva Center, the youth are able to do that. They're surrounded by trees, it's quiet, like human noise, but like you said, there's the mosquitoes there and the crickets and all sorts of other natural noises, and people can really get connected. When you look up into the sky, it's clear and it's sparkling and it's beautiful, and that's just a totally different experience than most of us get with light and noise and regular pollution in the areas that we live.
That's great. And tell us about your own camp experiences.
I grew up as a camper in Saugatuck, Michigan, and it was a wonderful and amazing experience. It was right off Lake Michigan. There are dunes up there. Again, it was about being immersed. I was also Boy Scout, so I got a chance to camp in a variety of other places. And truly that was foundational for me entering into ministry, wanting to reconnect spiritually there what I did with creation with people of God's community, and that's what called me into the ministry.
And Kaylin, what are things that you've learned at camp?
It doesn't matter what color or race we are, we're all one person in God's eyes. And we're different in personality. Like, we got along together well, and that even though that we look different and we may talk different with different accents, we're all the same in God's eyes.
Kaylin, what are some challenging aspects of camp?
Well, for one, because, well, my generation, being away from my phone for so long, I'm a big music person, and not being able to listen to my music through my headphones is something that was challenging for a whole week. I wasn't really used to the quietness. Like, it was kind of unnerving, starting, like, I'm so used to hearing like the cars and the city.
And what are some things that you learned by being away from music in that more quiet environment?
That it's better to go outside, to spend your time outside than it is spending your time inside, because the world is beautiful. And we don't know that if we're sitting inside all day in front of a screen. When we're at camp, we get to spend outside all the time and enjoy nature in its fullest form.
Now, Adam, what are future steps for the camp?
Currently, what we have done is we have expanded the reach of it. Like I said before, it was sort of regionally focused, and now we have broadened it to encompass the entirety of the Presbytery. We traditionally needed to rent just one bus, and this year we're already looking at renting two. So just in terms of number and quantity, we're growing. But one of the main focuses that we are really honing in on and trying to develop a lot of resources towards is the inclusiveness and diversity that's centered around the camp. We're looking at using Acts 17:26 as one of our watchwords, talking about how God made all of humanity from one person, and that our diversity across the face of the earth is actually what unites us. God made us all differently so that we can connect with one another. And moving forward, we want to be able to empower the kids to have those multicultural encounters with one another and understand exactly what Kaylin just said.
And Kaylin, what would you say to other youth who are considering coming to camp this year?
It's an experience that is worth having. People may think like, oh, my phone, I can't live without my phone. It's like to be honest, like after like the first day, you guys like forget about it. Like, my what? And the different people you meet. It's like something different besides your everyday people that you see, and we make new friends. You didn't think like, wow, I didn't think that would happen. You come back feeling closer to God for one, and then a love for nature that you thought you never had living in the city.
And Kira, what are you looking forward to about camp this year?
Discovering different things and seeing a lot of new things and making new friends.
That sounds great. I'm really excited for that. Now, Adam, finally, tell us about how kids can sign up.
Kids can sign up by going to the Presbytery of Chicago website. On there, they'll see a link for the Geneva Center. They'll go there and they'll register directly with the Geneva Center for the camp. But if they are curious about scholarship information, there's a link on the Presbyterian Chicago website, and they will link up with a woman named Jackie who will accept their application once they fill that out. And then we begin that process, negotiating it with campers, home churches, and of course the Together Outdoors work group.
Well, I am personally so excited for camp this year, and I can see that you all are too. Thank you so much, Adam, Kaylin, and Kira, for coming in and telling us all about camp today. I'm Leah Smith for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.